It's a chilly day in November 2018 as Jordan Weaver is making the rounds in Indiana as a UPS driver. This would be no ordinary shift though, as Weaver finds out to his cost. You see, as he stops off in a residential area to drop off a parcel, he catches a glimpse of something moving in a pile of leaves. And as the delivery man realizes what's hidden underneath the leaves, his blood runs cold. But before we start, please give the video a like and make sure to subscribe to WonderBot and hit the bell so you'll never miss any uploads from us. According to Yahoo Lifestyle, Weaver had at that point recently graduated from UPS's multi-week-long driver safety program. He'd only been with the company for around 10 months by that time, and as the website claims, had been particularly alert. It was lucky, too, that Weaver had been on his guard on that particular day in Elkhart, Indiana. While on his rounds, he parked his vehicle up on a main road that was just across the street from his next delivery. Then the driver handed the package over and headed back to his van. But Weaver's day would take a shocking turn just a few moments later when he spotted something strange rustling in the leaves by the sidewalk. And after the UPS employee uploaded a snap of the sight onto social media, the shot would subsequently go viral. We'll return to exactly what Weaver came across a little later. First though, let's explore some of the trials and tribulations that are faced by delivery drivers while they do their rounds. After all, Weaver certainly isn't the only one to have dealt with an unexpected situation on the job. As a delivery driver, you get to travel the roads of your local area and take in the surroundings as you go. And given the amount of time that you're likely to spend in your vehicle, you may just get glimpses of some pretty strange sights along the way. FedEx delivery driver Byron Nash had quite the shock, for instance, when he took to the road on one day in October 2018. On that occasion, Nash was traveling through Lake Charleston, Louisiana, before making a standard stop outside a house. Then, with the sun beaming down on the blacktop, Nash grabbed the package from his truck and prepared to hand it over. But while all prepared to be fairly normal at that stage, the driver got the fright of his life a few seconds later. When he left the vehicle, you see, he caught sight of something truly shocking. Incredibly, a baby had crawled onto the road from the house that Nash was delivering to, with the tot having made her way right next to the tires of the truck. Nash felt the need to capture this jaw-dropping moment on video too, and he would later share the resulting footage on Facebook. The clip opens up with a shot of the baby in question, who appears to be sat down in front of the FedEx vehicle. Nash then says, "Look at what I've seen when I get out of my damn work truck. This baby's right under my tires, and her parents are nowhere to be found. Look at this." Nash subsequently pans across to the house, revealing that the garage door is wide open. Then, after clarifying that the baby's alone, he turns the camera back to the road and spots the youngster crawling toward him. In response, the driver says, "Hey," in a startled voice, and crouches down beside her. Nash also temporarily puts the parcel down to pick up the child, who whimpers quietly. Then he grabs the package again and heads over to the house in a bid to find the baby's parents. And the delivery man calls out to make his presence known as he walks into the open garage. A few moments later, however, a woman responds from inside the property and heads over to Nash. The driver has stern words for her too, saying, "Hey, this baby was under my truck. I didn't even see her until I saw the dog, and I got out and saw her under the tire." Clearly taken aback, the lady responds, "Oh shit, oh honey." With the tot now back in her guardian's sights, Nash then hands over the parcel. Meanwhile, the woman tells the youngster, "Girl, come on now, I thought I had her trapped." The following month, however, another delivery driver shared their own shocking tale with the world. Jordan Weaver, who we mentioned earlier, was dropping off parcels to residents in Elkhart, Indiana. And though he had close to a year's worth of experience with UPS at that point, nothing could have prepared him for what happened that day in November 2018. On that occasion, one of Weaver's stops had required him to park on the other side of the road to a massive pile of dead leaves. And UPS's Director of Corporate Relations, Glenn Zakara, filled in what happened next when talking to Yahoo Lifestyle. According to Zakara, nothing had initially seemed out of place in that moment in time. Zakara said, "Weaver walked across the street to deliver a package to a woman that was leaf blowing in her yard. She took it and started walking into her home, and Weaver went back across the street to his truck. From there, though, the driver caught sight of something strange. Weaver had picked up on some unusual movement in the pile of leaves, you see, and so he went on to take a closer look in a bid to identify what was causing the rustling. A few minutes later, however, the UPS delivery man had his answer. and it turned his stomach upside down. The large pile of leaves itself had started to spill onto the road from the sidewalk. Given the heap's location then, any passing cars would have had trouble avoiding it. And in fact, those motorists would have had little chance of spotting what Weaver eventually saw on his stroll to the truck. Incredibly, Weaver had spotted a young boy playing beneath the pile of leaves. Then the kid returned to the surface and headed back to the house that Weaver had visited, leaving the driver utterly stunned. He later recalled to WSBT TV, "I couldn't believe it at first. My heart completely stopped." Once he'd gotten over his shock, however, Weaver walked back to the property to speak with the woman. Zakara told Yahoo Lifestyle, "Turns out, of course, that's her son." So Weaver said, "First, I want you to be aware of what was going on." He was certain she didn't notice with the leaves flying and the noise. But Weaver also had an intriguing request for the lady. You see, prior to starting his day at UPS, he frequents a pre-work communication meeting, better known as a PCM. And following his encounter with the hidden child, the courier saw an opportunity to bring something forward at a future get-together. Zakara continued, "At every location all over the world, we do 15-minute PCM meetings before drivers go out on the road. Part of it's stretching and literally getting themselves ready to go out, but an important part of the PCM is some type of safety message." Keeping that in mind, Weaver asked his question. Basically, Weaver queried whether he could snap a photo of the boy in the pile of leaves. And after the UPS employee added that he would use the image to warn his fellow drivers of hidden dangers, the woman agreed. So the trio went on to replicate the situation on the sidewalk, with the kid jumping back into the mound. In the resulting image, the boy's head can therefore be seen sticking out of the pile. This wasn't actually visible in the first encounter, in fact, but Weaver could use it as a visual cue when delivering his message at the PCM. And even so, the youngster was still somewhat hard to spot under all the leaves. Weaver then returned to his truck and fired the picture over to one of his workmates. After Teresa Baker, who was part of the safety committee program at UPS, received the image a short time later, however, she decided that the photo should be spread even more widely. And after Baker subsequently posted the image on social media, the snap quickly went viral. Amazingly, the photo earned close to 400,000 shares and around 33,000 reactions on Facebook before Weaver's colleague deleted the post. Then UPS responded to Weaver's quick thinking on that day through a short statement. The message read, "Safety is our top priority at UPS. When one of our drivers saw this child in the leaves, it was a chance to help spread the word to always be watchful on the road." That lesson is useful to more than just UPS drivers, of course, as anyone on the road should be vigilant of their surroundings. And when Weaver's find was covered on Yahoo Lifestyle, many commenters went on to talk about their own experiences with leaf piles on the road. One user wrote, for instance, "My hubby told me once that when he was 16, he had just received his license. He was driving and running over leaf piles. For some unknown reason, he didn't hit a certain pile of leaves on the road, and just as he drove by, a kid popped out. He said he's never run over a pile of leaves again." Another online commenter touched upon the overall conditions of the road that time of year. According to that person, drivers need to be wary of more than just hiding children when approaching areas covered in leaves, as wet foliage can also prove dangerous. The user said, "I live in a tropical climate, but I've always wanted to move to somewhere with fall foliage. I would have never thought that kids would be hiding under there." The Weather Channel was also just talking about how difficult it is to get your car to a complete stop when leaves, specifically wet leaves, are on the ground. These are all things that are good to remind people about this time of year, even if they already knew it, the commenter added. And Weaver has also reflected on the safety of the roads from his perspective as a delivery driver. During his shifts, you see, he's played witness to some dangerous behavior. In particular, Weaver claimed that he's noticed plenty of drivers on their phones in areas such as Elkhart, and naturally, using a cell phone while on the road may not only prove a distraction, but it could also put others in real peril. When speaking to WJTV then, Weaver wanted his fellow motorists to take something on board. In a video interview, he told the news station, "You really have to keep your eyes open, no matter what kind of street you're on, and no matter where you're at. You just have to really pay attention to everything around you constantly."